I would say welcome back, but we haven't really left.
We haven't left. No, this is a man. I gotta tell you, Randy. I don't know if we've ever done a double rack and stack.
I know
So yeah, we got 3 today and at least 2 tomorrow. I think
at least 2 or
if
3
not 3.
tomorrow, and then next week Tuesday or something we got another 2 or 3 or
Yeah,
something.
it's absolutely crazy. Well,
It is.
that's partly my fault. I had to ditch out on you when I
Well, you did.
had the
You did.
sickness roll into the house here. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're back.
We're back and we're doing it, but you know what? We do what we love and what we do, and that love what we do is easy for you to say. And it's just great to be here with you. So, we're going to talk barn dominiums with TJ Norris with the Barndo Company. I mean, the guy's a stud in the Barndo world, and as you and I've talked about, and I know you're taking notes because that's one of your dreams is to build a Barndo yourself someday.
It is, and it's becoming slowly but surely one of those things that is getting kind of pushed to the back because we've got all sorts of kooky stuff in our life. But I gotta tell you, when the Barndo people are on, I love it because I do have a pipe dream for it.
Well, we'll work towards that becoming reality, brother.
I know, right?
Let's do it. All right.
So,
hey, well, let's go talk to TJ. I like talking to you, but we can do that later.
Yeah,
we'll do that over at Dr. Pepper later.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a deal. All right, let's go.
Right.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Look at this, man. It's not often that I get to have TJ Norris himself on. This is like earth shattering or something.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll roll it.
Okay. You're the guest. It's really not that great, but I thought I'd pump you up a little bit. It's good to see you, brother. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just busy, running around. So I was excited to have a moment to jump on here and chat Barndos with you.
Man, I know you kind of love the Barndo world, don't you?
I love it, dude.
Yeah,
it's my whole life now. Like there's no escaping it. I am just the Barndo guy.
Yeah, I love it. So before we start, obviously TJ Norris, because your name's on the screen, but for people that would be really, really crazily, that'll work, silly enough to not know who you are, give us the TJ Norris story, who you are, where you're from, how you got into this crazy gig, and let's rock and roll here.
Yeah, so TJ Norris, I'm born and raised in upstate South Carolina, and me and my business partner, Ross Ledford, we started the Barndo Co. We started this thing back in 2021, and it was just a perfect storm. COVID, it was middle of COVID. I had been in real estate, had a real estate development company, and Ross was building, just steel ag buildings and stuff with aero construction. And we were looking at a piece of property together. And I asked him what his plan was, and he's like, I'm going to build a Barndo out here. And I was like, you know how to build those? He was like, yeah, I just finished one. We rode down the road in his pickup and looked at one that he had built. And I told him, I said, man, I think I could sell 1 million of these things. And so that's where it happened, standing in the middle of a cow pasture in 2021. And when we started, we were like, can you imagine, it was just going to be a side hustle, like just another thing to do. And we were like, imagine we could do like 5, 6 of these a year, man. We'll be crushing it. We never dreamed that 3 years later we would be building hundreds of them, and be spread out the way it's spread. So it's been great. But I think one of the things that happened was you pair up a bit like a big visionary mind like me with someone who's a get it done person like Ross. You don't have a lot of the same limitations that you do as a single individual trying to start something, because you're going to be really good at something and you're going to be okay at others. Right. And so we really complemented each other well to get this thing up and off the ground. And man, I don't know, perfect storm, a little bit of talent mixed in there, I guess, a lot of luck. And the Barndo Co. just was born and blossomed.
Love it, man. Well, I see you're all over, and you surprised me. I knew you just had an open house at a new location this week, or was it last week? And
no,
this week, I thought so. And when I asked you off air, is this your third or fourth or second or third? And he said the sixth. Man, you got 6 locations now.
Yep. The goal we're working towards right now inside the company is 10 locations. So we already have them all picked out.
Okay.
And we're just kind of sequentially opening them. And that sounds insane because it is insane. But we started in the upstate of South Carolina, like I said, in 2021. I had no idea. In the first 4 months, we put 60 barndominiums under contract. Wow. And then came the struggle of how do you build 60 barndominiums? And so we had to jump through a lot of hoops. And so in the process, though, like we did more than the product. The product's cool, right? Like barn doors have been around forever. Actually, my dad and his business partner built one when I was a kid, and it started off as like a material storage building, and then it was like a man cave, and then it became like a cabin at the lake, and it just kind of transformed. That was an old 50 by 100 renegade steel building, and it just I've always been infatuated with it, and but what we really focused on was the process. Everyone we talked to wanted one. They just didn't know how to get one. And we're not in the wild, wild west. Like we have a lot of like building codes and, things that we had to accommodate with and come up with a solution. And the biggest thing was like financing, I know that there's institutions that would lend on them, but like, how do you make it? You can't go mainstream with barndominiums until you break into where any given individual, whether their budget's $270,000 or $2.7 million, can go and get traditional financing. And so we really spent a lot of time in the beginning building that. And through that conversation, we come up with the system that we use to build these and then started focusing on the process. So, it's more than just being a good builder. There's a lot of hand-holding that goes into this, because building a home, whether you're building a barndominium or you're just building a home, it's stressful. And there's a lot of things that go into it. And so we had to develop a system so people could find us. And we're a complete design to door key company. We managed to beat down the door with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and get open financing. And then we got into a conventional loan model with about 15 banks, and then it turned into 50 banks. And then we got into the FHA world and the USDA world. And then a couple of years ago, we got VA approved, and we were able to start serving veterans with new barndominium construction. And it just kind of exploded. So like I say, we started in the upstate. Kind of the beginning of our second year, we launched one down in Summerville, South Carolina, which is just outside of Charleston. And that's the one that you just saw, because we actually relocated that one. We changed our model a little bit and went to a more design center, more client facing environment rather than just, an office atmosphere. We wanted to really have the same kind of atmosphere if you were going in and working with any other builder, where you could walk into a showroom, see selections, and have someone handhold you through the process. And so since then, we've got offices in upstate South Carolina and Duncan, which is right between Greenville and Spartanburg. We have the Somerville location that's now conveniently located in Nexton Square. Nexton's like the next big thing down in that area. We have a new showroom we're about to cut the ribbon on in June in Conway, South Carolina, which is right outside of Myrtle Beach. We have one in Dunn, North Carolina, that we opened last year, and that's right between kind of Fayetteville and Raleigh on the I-95 corridor. We just about 3 weeks ago cut the ribbon on Greensboro, North Carolina, which is kind of in the triangle of North Carolina. And then last summer, we launched a location in between Pigeon Forge and Knoxville in a little town called Seymour. And so it's just expanding, and like I say, we've got all those up and running, and they're fully staffed and they're already operating. The only caveat being Conway hasn't had their spotlight time yet with their ribbon cutting, but they're already down there pounding away, selling barns, building barns. We've got 2 more locations dialed up that are in the works now to start the build out process to keep expanding and bring it to people, because we don't have a shortage of people that want the product. We have a shortage of being able to provide the same quality experience everywhere. And so, for us, we're not going to open until we can, whether you're in Texas, Kentucky, Georgia, or the upstate South Carolina, we want you to be able to walk in and have the exact same experience that every other client has. And so that's kind of where we're at.
That's awesome. I mean, that's exciting, and it's exciting to see that progress. And the funny thing, what I love about the barn door world, which is everything, but what I really love about the barn door world is my background is post frame from forever. I built post frame 1.5 million years ago. I'm not saying we stored dinosaurs in them, but they were about ready to be born. And not that funny, TJ. Anyway, because it's accurate. But it was neoprene nails, galvanized roof, no overhang, and it was like, I was telling some other people, it was like literally a couple slide doors, maybe a walk door, maybe two if you really got fancy. And if you really got fancy, you put two windows in it, right? And it was, I don't want to say a throwaway barn, but it was an economy build, right? It was just a storage building. And that's where I started in. And to go fast forward now and to see all the things that are happening in the post frame building world, but and like being blessed to serve on the National Frame Builders Association board, I get to be involved in the building of the year and some of the things that we do, and just the beautiful things that these buildings are becoming. It's not to take a knockoff of an old ad. Again, quit laughing, TJ, but it goes way back. It's not your father's Oldsmobile back in the day, and it was a great ad. And it's not your father's post frame building anymore, right? I mean, it's so different, and so many things can be done. So, but let's talk about that. Post frame, metal, stick built. You do them all, or do you like
No,
to?
so we kind of coined our own process. So we are post frame guys. Like
That's what I thought. Okay.
We love post frame, but we created what we call post frame hybrid. And so we kind of blended three methods of construction to check all the boxes. And so then there was two reasons for it. One was we had to speak language of lenders and insurers and stuff like that, so that they'd feel more confident in coming in and assisting people with building these things. Number two was we had to figure out a way that we could scale, right? Because it does you no good to have a perfect process that you know and only you know in your area, because it would slow down the ability to go and help people. So we had to come up with some kind of hybrid solution so that when we move into new areas, yes, we have to take them, especially the framing people that we train to go in and build for us, how we do it. But we made some things. And what we discovered was, no matter where you live in America, there's really good barn builders, right? They've been around forever. Mm-hmm. And there's really good home builders. But there's very rarely do you find really good barn home builders. Like it doesn't happen. And so what we noticed in the beginning was, like, and still to this day, there's a lot of like shell builds, like, hey, come build me a shell. And now there's two reasons for that. There's a lot of like, the people that want these are really hands-on people. And a lot of times they want to come in and do some of the work themselves and do all this, it's the cowboy way. Cool. Mm-hmm. They're not our ideal client. We really wanted to address people that really want this, and we wanted to take away any limiting factor for them to be able to go and access this American dream reborn, right? And have them a barn dough out in the country, and provide turnkey. And so that's what we do. We don't do anything but turnkey builds. We don't do shells. We did them for a period of time. It just doesn't fit our business model. We don't feel like we could give the client the same, exceptional service by only doing a part of the build. Because there was this hangups. Like we lived with that with clients who, were piecemealing this thing together, and they use us for a portion, and it was a hard struggle. And like, we had a problem with it. Like, we didn't have an obligation to help them for those other things, but it just felt like it was lackluster. Like, it's more than a product. It's the process that we love. And so we just felt like it wasn't bringing value to people for us to go out and build shells. There's tons of people out there that build shells. I think a lot of ag building guys, they'll come and build a shell. They see this, they want to jump on the barndominium craze. And so they're like, of course, we'll put doors and windows in our buildings, Yeah. And so like, that's great. There's abundance of that. What there's a lack of is complete turnkey builders. And so we wanted to address that need, and that's all we focused on. And that's what we rolled out. So yeah, if you pulled up on a job, you would see a lot of similarity, right? But then by being a post frame guy, you would see some things that would make you scratch your head and go, that seems like overkill. And it really is, like doing vertical infill framing between the posts. Not necessary. We used to do it with bookcase purlins and girts. Like we would do that to save that. But like, again, when we kind of shifted from, hey, we're going to be these hometown heroes in the upstate of South Carolina, to, hey, we have a mission and a vision that we want to help as many people as we can and really become the vehicle that takes barndominiums mainstream, we had to speak the language of the land. So if you move into a new area, it's a lot of babysitting work to find drywall crews that know how to hang on horizontal, girts and do it correctly. And it's a lot of legwork to deal with all these municipalities and inspectors and building inspectors that have never seen it. And even though we still supply a super set of structurals with every single build we put into the field, they still scratch their head, and it's just wasted time. So we started doing vertical infill framing. It speaks the language. Also, we kind of feel like it's the best interest of the person moving into the home, because when they move in that home, it is a home to them. And so when they go hang their TV or hang those pictures on the wall, they don't want to run into, well, I've got this 2-foot horizontal spacing, and so like now my pictures are all at this one level, or I got to get some special hook to go in the drywall. No, like we want it to speak the language, right? We want our cabinet installers to go in and see the same thing they see no matter where they're installing. And so we built this system, so it's massively overbuilt, but still built on a budget when compared to conventional custom home building. And so we really feel like the value, the bang for the buck is unparalleled, unmatched in the way that we build our buildings. And there's a lot of things that we include in our standards that we won't go any lower. Like we will always spray foam insulate the entire envelope. We do not do bat. We will not allow that. Like if you got a budget buster, cool. Let's make a smaller kitchen island. I'm not skimping on your insulation. I'm not doing it. You'll remodel your bathroom, you'll change and paint your cabinets. You're never going to bear it down to bare studs and re-insulate. Right. So we're going to make sure you start out with the best system possible. And we go into it because, again, we don't build anything that's not a residential dwelling, and we don't build anything that's not turnkey that we handle from dirt to door key. We just don't do it. So with that being the mission that we do, like we don't build your horse barn. We're not your horse barn people. We're not your ag building people. We are the residential barn dominium specialists. And so we know what gives you the best outcome. And so we will not go away from that. Like we will not diminish it in hopes of getting one more sale. And that comes from lessons learned, and we've done this in a short period of time, but we've learned our share of lessons. I joke all the time and say, like, we'll have builders reach out to us and like, want to get some insight, like, hey, we're getting started. We really want to do this. It seems like you guys figured some things out. Can you help us? I'm like, yes, move slower. Because, we were riding the nastiest bull at the rodeo, and every time we get off, somehow it got bigger and nastier. And we, in 3 years, we've dealt with nearly 1,000 clients who came in, onboarded with the company, and are in some phase of design. Like this year, I think we'll probably completely complete, meaning broke ground this year, and we'll hand door keys to clients, 120 to 130 builds. But we'll have onboarded and have in design and in pipeline, and some builds that will start but not finish in this calendar year in excess of 300, 350 builds. That's a lot of people. There's a lot of mistakes that you can make fast. It's, you're changing the tires on a race car while it's still on the track if you're in our boat. So it's been a wild experience for sure.
Well, but it sounds like you obviously have learned the lessons along the way, and there's nothing that's painless, right? The key is get through the pain as quick as possible, learn from it, and move on. And it sounds like you've done that. And what I really enjoyed listening to some of your story there, TJ, is it's all about the experience too with you guys. You because you're selling you're selling a lifestyle. It's not just a structure. I mean, a structure is structure. It's some sticks and blocks and brick and roofing and metal and stuff, whatever that stuff is, right? Yep. But you're really selling is that country gentleman lifestyle, if you will, the Arcadian lifestyle of being out of town, got your little spot in nature, and the fact that they can come into a showroom, they can work with real true pros, walk through that process, because this is probably a one and done for most people, right?
100%. Yeah, so almost everyone. Now, I mean, we have investors now that are jumping in and building them because they realize they can build these slightly more cost effectively. But what's wild about it is like we've dabbled in specs, like we've built entire barn dominium neighborhoods. It's not as fun. It doesn't have as much traction as custom built on your lot, because what we've identified is the people that want this, they don't want any part of cookie cutter. So the ability to come in, and so like we have some master plans on our website that people come in and they can start with that, right? There's levels to it, and they can jump into that plan, but they always can change things. So like even if it's just the colors and the combos and the way things work, or maybe, hey, I want to change the way this bathroom looks, like we can do minor alterations with that standard. And then we have our full custom white glove experience where you come in and we take it out of your brain, put it on paper, and then put bearings to it so we can go and build it. And that tends to be, like I said, reinventing the American dream. Like there's so many people in the U.S. right now that everything repeats itself, but you had rural America, and then you had the city, and everyone run in, right? Like, and it's kind of wild. Like, I feel like my generation was kind of the last generation that still had that, like, and we were about 50-50, right? Like 50% of us wanted to be in the country and have our own homestead, and then the other 50% kind of wanted to, go apartment life, townhome life. I don't want to do lawn care. I don't want to do that, right? I grew up doing that. I don't want to do that anymore. And then, like, my sister and I, we're 8 years apart. Her generation, none of them wanted that. Like, you've seen 3-story walk-up apartment buildings and townhomes and everything just exploding. Mm-hmm. What's really cool, Randy, is in our company, we have a lot of young people that work here. We got 50-something plus W-2 employees now. And a lot of them are in their 20s. A lot of them are female. And it's really cool for me to walk through our offices and hear them have that same hunger, like, that I remember of, I want to own my own piece. I want to build my own thing. And, like, you see people are getting out of the hustle and bustle and running back to the rural America, and they want to plant their stake in the ground and have their place. And it's just cool that we came along, and yeah, the product's cool. Barn doors are cool. They're all the craze, right? Like, I tell people, like, it's almost a cult, right? Like, we have Facebook groups with millions of people in them. Yep. And there's not millions of people in that group that own barn dominiums, but there's millions of them that fantasize about it and romanticize about it. And so it's kind of cool. Like, there are other home builders, right? Like, you don't have, like, traditional, like, barn dominium groups where it's like just, conventional homes in a subdivision. I want to be a part of that group. No, it's like we've tapped into this cool reinvigoration of the American dream and created a process so that, like, literally anyone can step into it and go get a home for them, no matter what their needs are. And, like, even from our barngalows, which are these little 900 to 1,200 square foot houses, all the way up to these big monsters that you see posted where you got 8, 9, 10,000 feet under roof. It's just really cool to have a product that serves that. But more so, I think it's the process we've created to make it easy for folks. And then our attention to people, because people is everything. Like, we started this for 2 reasons. One, barn doors are cool, right? Yeah. But the second thing is like, I grew up in this, man. My dad was a drywall contractor, and Ross's dad was a roofing contractor. Like, we grew up in trades. And then I kind of went away from it and went into a more corporate gig with a building manufacturing company that made building supplies. Spent 10 years of my life there and got introduced to a side of, like, the corporate world that I just didn't like. I didn't like the way I was treated. I didn't like feeling like I was a number. I didn't like the thought that, I could go and drive and build business and, like, I was nothing. I was considered nothing. And so when we started this, I had a whole laundry list of things that I didn't want to become. I didn't have a clear vision on what we would become, but I drove a stake in the ground on culture. And so if there's one thing that we got right, it's people. The people that work here, the way we impact our communities, we're big on community. That is one of our staples in our core values as a company. Matter of fact, like, with all these offices that we're building and design centers, when we go into a new community, we find a local charity partner that we can partner with, and we donate to that before we ever invest a single cent into our own businesses. And we've done that since day one. You can see right here behind me, the Miracle League. That's a special needs baseball organization. I have a daughter that's played there for 10 years. And I remember when, it was like $50 to join, and it was a strain for me financially to even pay for her to play. And now we've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to that organization and just got to champion things in our community and give volunteer opportunities to our employees to go and spend time in the community and just have initiative. We're part of another organization here in the upstate of South Carolina that helps connect high school age kids that are studying trades that maybe don't want to go to college, get plugged in. And so we're bringing our subcontractors in and all our network of people and building training programs to plug high school graduates directly into the trades. And I think that's the piece that's made us more successful than just the barn dough side of things is the emphasis. You said it, it's a lifestyle. And the cool thing is we get to lead the charge. So we get to go out there and create based off who we are as people, and attract people that share the same values as us. And it's been really cool to experience that.
Well, that is cool, and I was enamored listening to you talk about it, TJ, because that the fact that you're not just promoting a lifestyle because it's a good marketing model, right? It's you're living that lifestyle and you're giving back to the community. So you're actively involved and engrossed and engaged in that lifestyle morning through night every single day, and that's a whole lot different. And I'm sure that's leads a lot to your success because people pick up on that, right? They understand if it's just a tagline in a social media ad, we care about lifestyle. Yeah, well, but yet you can figure out real fast you don't really care about lifestyle. You care about the dollar, right? So the fact that you're doing the things that you just talked about doing is some things I didn't know you were doing, and that's why I'm glad you're on here today talking about it, because that's pretty impressive, and that's the kind of people that, especially like you said, the walk-ups in downtown Charleston, those people probably don't care about that as much because the lifestyle is, I just want to walk in and lock the door, triple lock the door, pull the blinds, and sit inside until tomorrow, until I go to work or I go to the local pub or whatever I do. The people you're building for are literally building a lifestyle centered around this barndominium that they're building, right?
Yep.
And that's impressive stuff, and it's got to be fun for you guys.
It is fun, and the cool thing is like we don't try to get too cutesy with solving the problem, right? There's no shortage of really cool barndominium design companies, right? And you see them all the time. I'm a fan. I follow all of them. Like they release things, and you're like, wow, this multi-million-dollar build, and then someone will conveniently share it to one of those barndos for under 100K groups, and everyone will start foaming at the mouth, knowing that you couldn't even pour the concrete for $100 grand. But
right.
There's a bunch of that. But what we found is like there's a need there. So if you look on our website, the average square footage that we're putting into the market is between 2,200 to 2,800 square feet.
Okay.
Right? Most every plan that you'll see, there are some exceptions, right? Because not everything fits everyone, but we're really, really, really big on building ranch style, single story, age in place homes, because we want people to know, hey, you're building a superior quality product. It's built to last 100 plus years. And we want you to have the ability to live here forever, regardless of what life may throw at you. I'm in a situation. I adopted a daughter with special needs. I know what it was like when her room was on the second floor and she had a surgery and she couldn't go up the steps and we had to remove things. My office became her bedroom. And like, my business partner, he battles some personal things, and like, there's a chance that, like, in old age, he may not be able to do stairs. So like we take that into consideration. And so like people come in sometimes and there's like this wow factor of like, it needs to be 3 stories tall and have, a party deck on the top. And we're like, cool, we can build that for you. But that's not what the majority of people are building. That's not what the need is for most people. Our average turnkey ticket is $440,000. And that's up almost 80 grand just over the last 2 years. Because again, like, the bigger you get, it doesn't mean that we don't build them. We have several right now that are under construction that are 7-figure builds. I mean, massive builds. Mm-hmm. But the meat and potatoes is $360,000 to $440,000, and we turn them and turn them and turn them, and they're all custom to what that family needs, and they're set up for life. I mean, the quality of a post frame structure compared to a conventional frame structure, and the fact that the metal siding and the metal roofing and the attention to the insulation and the way everything mechanically should work together to provide that, efficiency in the home. Like, we take all that into consideration. So we've done that. And matter of fact, most of our plans, over 80% of our plans, with a click of a button, can be converted to ADA compliancy. So, very quickly, like just a stock plan. It's not like we're going to have to go through some big caveat to make that ADA compliant for your family if that's a need for you. It's been considered on the front end. And so there's a lot of those things that we do, I think, that just, again, it's attention to people more than the product. We talk about people more than we talk about our product. We talk about our process more than we talk about our product. The product is great. We don't have to talk about it all the time.
Right.
We really love impact. We want to be able to impact families, man.
Yeah, I love that. And the way you're impacting the communities that you pull into is good stuff. And, I always have to ask this question. I talk to anybody about barn doors. Where in the world did this silly idea come from way back? What's the history of the barn door? Who just one day said, you know what, Randy, TJ, let's just build a pole barn and turn it into a house? Where did that come from?
I've answered this a million times, and this is my own, and I get attacked all the time, right? Like, there's no shortage of people that are like, that ain't a barn door. Today, I would say, what is a barn door? Whatever you want it to be. There's too many options out there, right? It's a style of home as much as it is a way of building now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even your big box guys that are building conventional homes, they've keened in on the attractiveness of it. Go to their websites, look at it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have some barn-looking house. And that's cool, man. Like, if that's what fits you and your family's needs, I'm for it. I want you to have that. I got really good friends of mine that build traditional, 2x6 exteriors and wood truss, and they put metal on the outside and call them barn doors. And like, that's cool. Like, I love that, right? There's people that are getting what they want all over the country with a variety of things, from red iron to structural steel. I think what we build is superior to all of them. Right, I will stand on the soapbox for that, but I'm not going to bash someone for building another way. I don't care.
Right.
But I think barn doors started conveniently with ranchers and farmers who had oversized barns, and they had massive loft areas because of the way that they were built. And if you're a ranch and you got ranch hands and cowboys and they need a place to stay, that's a pretty cost-effective way to go up in there. It's already got a roof, it's already got a floor system, and build some living quarters. And I kind of think that's where it started. And then I think somewhere along the lines, someone kind of wised up to the fact that, like, man, I can build a post frame building for a fraction of the cost of a conventional frame building. Now, that's not so true anymore, but there was a day and time where it was really more affordable to do. And so you've seen people start doing it. And then it just kind of gained traction and popularity. But I think it gained traction and popularity because it was different. People want a statement piece. And so, like, one of the things that I used to say, like, back in the day when I was the sales guy, would say, like, hey, look, everybody that builds a house spends, once the papers are signed and the deal is done, you're going to spend the next 6 months while it's being built looking for that statement piece. With a barn door, your home is that piece. You don't have to have that one piece of furniture or that one thing or the wonky colored front door. Like, your home is the statement piece. All your friends are going to come over, think it's cool. I think that desire for something different has built what barn doors are today. And I think they went from being a means of a affordable solution to an issue with having, ranch hands and farmers and staff, an ability to put them in a place to live on property, to a affordable way of living, an affordable way to build, to now it's more of it's different, it's superior, and it's still more cost effective when you compare apples to apples,
And it's and we hit on it earlier, but I still find it really interesting. Is it truly is it's not just sticks and posts and columns and trusses and metal and all that. It truly is a lifestyle. It's what it is. There's a barn dominium lifestyle that people are looking for because stuff is stuff, right? I mean. Mm-hmm. And that's the case in anything. Products that I'm in my rep agency world, I can tell you all the reasons why any particular product I have, I can spin it as good as anybody about how great it is, and I think it is. But at the end of the day, I'm not the only screw that'll hold metal down on a roof.
That's right.
Right? So it's the other experiences that go with that's really the deciding factor. And that's what I see in a much bigger, broader scale with barn doors is at the end of the day, it's stuff. It's materials put together in the right way, in the right, with some electrical and it's stuff. It's all stuff. But if you do it right, like you guys are doing it, it just went from stuff to a lifestyle. It's like you said, this is who we are for the next 60 years till we're not here any longer. This is our place. Every time we drive in, we can be proud of it. And I think that's where, to me, as I listen to more and have followed you and know what you do, that you help people build a lifestyle. And that's a whole different story than just, well, I'll build you a building.
Yeah.
A lot of people will just build you a building.
Yeah, we're just giving them the vehicle to step into, to be the family they want to be, right? Like, they want to get away. We have this here in Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina has been a first-time home buyers market for forever. And so right now, and Greenville's a hotbed now. Like the Greenville-Spartanburg area is booming, right? We're conveniently located between Charlotte and Atlanta, and unfortunately, they've grown so much that we're in their traffic whip. But if you drive around Greenville, the best property has the worst houses. They're old and they're tract homes, and there's people pent up in those with the market surge, like when 2020 hit, right? The pandemic. The people that were buying like crazy were not locals. They were not locals. There was people moving here from out of state, and the local people, some of them sold and maybe had another place to go, but a lot of people held on. And so, with all the movement in the market, I think when we see interest rates come back down into the fives and dip into the fives again, you're going to see a lot of first-time home markets that traditionally have been this way are going to flip to secondary homes. And you're going to see a lot of people that have been living in their cul-de-sac for 15 years that are sick and tired of hearing their neighbor's music. The neighbor's got the car on blocks in the driveway. There's a dog that's yapping across the street. They're done with it. And they've got equity, and they're just waiting on a rate reduction so that when they can afford to move, they're going to pull their equity and you're going to start building. And you're going to see that all over America because, again, it comes in waves, but it's perfect timing. Like, again, people are trying to get back to their roots. And I think barn dough is just a really cool way to do it because every other method, they've completely changed it. Like here in rural South Carolina, there's no shortage of luxury home builders that build anywhere from, $1 million to $10 million homes. There's a collection of people for that. Mm-hmm. But everyone's went to the tract home model. If you Google builders, most of them are tract home builders. And that's cool. We have a big need for homes. We can't build enough barndominiums to solve the housing crisis, and especially in the Southeast where things are booming. But there is a wave of people who do not have a solution, right? They don't want a tract home built out in the middle of their 30 acres that they've saved up their whole life to go buy. They want something that's them. They want custom. They want the ability, and they want to know it's built to withstand time. And I think that's where the barn dough thing has really took root. Is just letting people escape the gray of society of what it's become. The suburbs are not suburbs anymore. It's different. Like people are escaping back to rural America, and I feel like we have the best vehicle for them.
Love it. Good stuff. Well, TJ, man, let's talk about one last thing before, because you've been very kind with your time. We are going to be together shortly in Manheim, PA, aren't we?
Yeah, man, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. So TJ is going to be on a panel at the Post Frame Builder Show that I'm going to moderate, and we're going to have several guest panelists, and we're going to chop it up for an hour, anything and everything about the barn dominiums, buddy. And I expect big stuff out of you.
Yeah, man. You told me you're going to throw me the humdingers. I'm ready for it.
Oh, the humdingers. I'm going to plant. I'm going to have some plants in the audience just for you. We'll be ready. I have no doubt. There you go. So as we wind down, this is your opportunity. Westwise likes the SAQs, the should ask questions rather than the frequently asked question. What either didn't I ask today, or maybe even more importantly, when you're just out and about and people know you as the barn dough guy, right? What do you wish people would ask you that they don't? What is the one thing that you just wish people ask you about barn doughs? Or your life, or life in general?
I would say I have two. So pertaining to people asking about barn doughs, it would be when should we start? Like, when should we get started? And I like to tell people before you found your land, or at least if you already have your land, before you go out there with your paintbrush and start determining what you want it to look like. Because I think a lot of people get off track with pre-construction costs. They don't fully understand it. And the crazy thing is we build in over 500 counties now. So it's like we have everything from limestone granite in Eastern Tennessee to the sandy soils of the low country of South Carolina. And the impact of getting what you want, but also doing it in a proper way so that the building we're going to build you is going to do everything you want it to do. It's going to be there. There's going to be no surprises. Get started earlier. Like don't drag your feet because you believe in your brain like you got to be ready to write a check to build today to get started. Start earlier. Ask those questions. Part of our process is like this onboarding process. It's It is the easiest thing, and I wish more builders will copy it. We've seen some; it's great, but get started. There's no obligation. It's a small fee. You walk away with plans. We're going to answer all your questions. We're going to give you and show you what it would cost for us to do it. Now you're educated. You're an educated consumer. If you want to go talk to other builders, do. Like, we want you to. Like, our philosophy is choose us, don't use us. Right? Don't think you got to use us because we're the only gig in town. Go talk to people. Take everything. We will download it, give it to you. You can use our plans. You can take our plans to another builder and build them. We do not care. We want you to have the best experience for you and your family. We can't service everybody. We're not the right builder for everybody. Then not every client is the right client for us. Right. We want you to have a great experience. But one thing that we do in there, one of the first things is come out to the property and figure out what your dream is on the dirt, right? And start telling you what that's going to cost. And I think that is the most overlooked scenario. And we get it on the other side of the business where other builders, they went through the whole process and they went out there to break ground and hit them with a $70,000 change order to get the foundation set up. And I'm like, that's just a terrible business model. Yeah. So ask questions early, get your land looked out at as soon as possible, because you might have a $700,000 budget, but $100,000 to $200,000 of it could be eat up with driveway and stuff. Because again, we're building in the rural woods. Like, it's not like we're doing a 70-foot wide lot with a 22-foot driveway. No, like we're having to consider a lot of things. So I think that's the number one thing that if I could educate anybody that's even thinking about it, is have a conversation earlier than you think you need to. There's a lot of things that go into pre-construction planning, design, financing, all those things. You have months on the front end. Don't wait. You can't get started too soon. The second thing that I would say is if you have other businesses that listen to the podcast and watch those things and they see that and they're like, holy crap, that's the number one question I get is, how have y'all done what you've done? Like, and I don't say that boastfully of like, the product. There's probably people that build better barns than we build, right? That's cool. Like we know we build a great product, but we don't focus on that. We focus on people. And I would say a should ask question for a business owner is, what is the number one thing that I could do to grow my business to be able to provide better service and expand and do all that thing? And I would say start with vision, culture, and core values of who you are, and don't negotiate on any of that. There are great people all around you that want to help you build and drive your mission and vision. You just got to set it up because they can't read your mind, and you got to have it on a checklist so you can find the right people. And you don't have to find the best talent. You have to find the best people, and then you can teach them to do it the way you do it. And I think that's a big limiting factor for a lot of business owners, and the reason why they kind of run their head into a wall, because they've been doing it for 15 years and they just feel like they're in a repeat cycle. There's bigger opportunities out there. You just need someone to help you with defining who you are, what makes you you, what's your unique differentiator. Get it on paper, and then go out and attract that kind of person, right? The talent will come. All of us learned over the course of time. None of us were born experts. So I think you just have to find the right people.
Well said, my man. TJ, brother, appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah, thank you, and we'll see you soon in beautiful Manheim, which I've never been. At the spooky nook or whatever, which I don't like spooky, so I may walk with you everywhere we go just to protect me. I don't like anything that I can't see or anything that's spooky, so I don't know about this place.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out. We'll see you there, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, man.
Thanks. There we go. Barndominiums with TJ Norris, the Barn Door Co. And if you get a chance to get into Manheim, if you're in my builder friends out there and you get a chance in the post frame industry to get into Manheim, you want to come to the Barndominium panel. Going to be some good stuff. We're going to have some good people. Anyway, you know what I say? Love what you do and do what you love. Live it, love it, own it, and go make today best day ever. Until tomorrow. See ya.